smart. They're gonna lose this game because we're saying this, but they seem so smart. Really well composure.
Yeah, so reliable, the stun.
So what is the deal with offlane Monkey King? We were saying that Seb's been spamming this in pubs before the tournament even began. What does it do?
I'm hoping that that Seb has got something different prepared this time around, and I certainly expect he does. But I really like what Aoi was hinting towards. That is something that second man at least was able to show us in the last match.
I'll be signing autographs out front.
Patience. I like the sound of taking that tower away. Alliance early makes their jungling like
30 seconds
you have to try and protect this raging a little bit more difficult. Especially the Alliance will be able to move through really nicely. I mean, they've got Moonlight Shadow, they've got Max, who eventually Kumail goes for the same build, is going to be going for that Manta playing Shard, so should be a really exciting.
I feel like it's similar to last year's where you actually get the really quick, constant fight by OG at one point, you know, when Axe and Monkey line. The build I've always seen on Seb is actually rushing that Witchblade. They use a bunch because of course that works like a better Echo Saber, and then you are also very active to fight. The damage is not as important as the slow, and of course it does work on those statues, so you used to love that build. But I want to point out something from Alliance draft that I really liked as well from them. They're actually copying, or that's not copying, but they're taking inspiration, let's say, from a draft that PSGLGD did in the Major as well. If you actually looked at the Major, the Tiny had really terrible win rate unless he was paired with Ancient Apparition, because the Ancient Apparition allowed him to get those solo kills really easily. And at PSGLGD found out that you could actually pair with a different hero, Scarab Mage, and have a very similar result. With both the damage amplification, of course the Mystic Flare, you kill almost any hero, and it makes Tiny much more useful. I think the Alliance is trying to use that strat as well. With one of Hanskit's also classical heroes, he's a really good Scarab Mage.
Now we'll see how it's going to be working out for them here. We do have this solo lane up top though. Seb ought to be able to pretty easily bully away S4, so it's that try down bottom, of course. Taking that first point in the Timber Chain just to make sure that Seb's not able to get up to it. Jingu stacks and
nothing is certain but ice and axe.
Try lane though. Got decent setup here available. Arrow eventually. Soxa you can call. There's a decent amount of kill between.
I think it's a bit difficult for Alliance because no matter what lane you set the Timber to, you know, you're going to be a bit, it's going to be a difficult lane. You know, that's why the Monkey King offlane was such a good idea as well. Yeah, it destroys Wraithing in lane, but Axe can deal with him nicely as well in this situation because of course you have a safe lane advantage, and Monkey King can continue to put pressure against the Timber. One of the classic counters does is the Luna, but still up there. No. And then you rotate the Morphling, you do the Morph strats that the panel talked about, and there's some really solid ideas here from OG from the lanes. And then the snowball is easy, right? They're gonna wait for that 20-minute timing with the Axe and just go ham from there. While Alliance want to get that farm on the Wraith King as soon as possible and try to use the Blink Dagger activation on him a bit earlier.
I wonder how Thompson's going to want to build this one. Maybe the Echo Saber just for a little bit of extra stats. Of course not, but you know, it's going to be a little bit difficult to actually try and burst into this Morphling if you more of that style build as Nico ran down a bit by Sumail. Towards here for Alliance level 1 for now. No, eager to abuse that second skill point he's gotten here from Soxa.
He was a bunch of experience here as an Axe, but as a later, just really strong. And the Scarab Mage I don't feel like does as much. I've seen recently the 4 Scarab Mages very often will actually use at many points in Concussive Shot or Ancient Seal, and in lane what you'll do is you'll harass with your nice range and your actually decent attack damage. But against an Axe that's just not as viable. The Battle Hunger can be kind of brutal against you. It's a difficult lane to run here, and the Magic Sticks completely cover them from potential Arcane Form kills as well. With no-till, at one point maybe he can go for a single point in the Cold Embrace, and that'll keep Sumail nice and healthy. How do you...
Tough lane, man. This is already going pretty rough for S4. I mean, Seb is out of control already, 18-4 compared to the 9-0. So, unsurprisingly, it's working very nicely for the moment. Of course, reverted waves.
Yeah, it's tough to like. You're gonna have to do a recovery period for Alliance at some point. They do have some really good ganking potential around that Blink Dagger on timing. So as long as his lane goes well, you can combine that with Scarab Mage and Hoodwink, and you have an insane magical burst. I think he can kill Morphling, honestly. Even if you don't get him before the attribute shift, it's good enough. In fact, talking about Morphling dying, our server couldn't even believe it. Lim just surprised him there with an avalanche and murdered poor Thompson. out of mana, so he couldn't really attribute shift as effectively.
Not easy. It's also going to have a little bit of a snowball effect here. We can already see Limp meandering on over and snagging that
Out of
bounty
toss,
rune.
actually. Alright.
Yep.
With the tree on top of that. Okay, well, I mean, yeah, if you can get those early kills, Morphling has really low range, why not? You can go for it, and that gives you Tiny the advantage that you're looking for anyway, because you're going to be playing around him. Well, at least that's the idea to me from the Alliance draft. Before OG can get online. So it's not too bad, even if the lanes aren't going ideally for them.
Going for, yeah, a bit of a laning build here already pretty early on with those boots after the Flowing Blade and the great damage. Quite a little bit better. Wow, great kill into Sumail. Acorn shot into Bushwhack, though. Allow Hands to maybe bump in a little bit of damage. Too much damage, I should say, that Sumail could actually handle.
I guess correctly the rotation from Piranha. Go immediately for the axe as soon as they saw that. Hey, this is the small recovery, but the Monkey King will get online, so Seb could still be a threat for you. He might be able to fight much sooner together with his teammates. In the middle lane, Limp tries to do the same thing again, but Thompson this time has mana, first of all, and second of all was ready for this. Not full agility when he was caught. Limp won't be able to get that sneaky kill a second time. I'm gonna have to show the replay a second time. He does. He's a fan of him.
Seb's already got an Orb of Corrosion on the way, though, a full Orb of Corrosion, so he's going to be able to give S4 the boot relatively quickly, see up to level 6. With Timber Chain, at least able to get just a little bit of farm every now and then. Again, it's just combination here. Bang.
Yeah, the Timber versus Monkey matchup is not the worst matchup, because usually there's a support to help you out and mitigate some of the impact. Compared to a Luna that pairs much nicer with that support, Monkey King is better in the 1v1. But that was the ideal situation you got. And because this is your, per se, weakest lane, is the hard lane, right, for OG, making this work for you makes your bottom lane much easier. And again, stops the tempo from Alliance. Saxa just discovered a bunch of stacks here. They probably will be able to steal this. They have an axe, so I mean, it's honestly the perfect lineup to steal stacks with. Once he gets Vanguard, you're done for. That was Hookwind mainly stacking it, actually. Hanskin could be in trouble here, but there's no arrow to follow up. They don't want to get a kill. Sumail's just looking for the easy stack money.
Vanguard. I mean, even if Sumail didn't have Vanguard, we've got the complexity strat already that Kyle was keeping to bring up and take credit for. What they did do is that rotation top lane from Limp. The Avatos is to be enough damage along with that shot from for the kill. And as I was saying, here's No Tell with Golden Brace if they needed it, but they didn't. Sumail very easily able to tank these up. So all that efficiency. Thank you very much, FNG, for those stacks. Be a nice goal ejection here for Sumail.
At this point, that was almost insulting for FNG. By the way, let's not forget, this was the squirrel all along. They did this for Sumail. Very happy about this, of course. And Berserker Skull, I don't think this should be a kill. Nico has a stun, but the arrow's coming in. Unfortunately, a bit too late, Nico can get away. Regardless, since your axe is this far, I mean, you're happy as OG. You don't need to get any kills. On the Lion side, though, Limp is starting to get online.
They might try again here for Seb. Limp is still idling in the area. They've got a ward down as well, watching over that triangle. They should know that there hasn't been anyone mid for some time. Calling that one out. Seb playing it very safe here underneath that tier 1 tower. Limp daring him to go shrine to test the creep wave. You can see how low they keep that creep to try and bait him in. There goes Limp yet again. Avalanche of the toss. Toss creep though. Is that going to be enough damage? Not quite. TP's now coming through from the length of OG.
This isn't the end.
Oh, they actually will be able to chop down Seb. Or in the meantime, escaping in one swift move.
S4 was just on his way out. Got Seb along the way. 4 points in Timber Chain. He knows there's no point in maxing reactive armor against the Monkey King. Instead, get the Timber Chain, more damage to farm creeps later, have a better escape, and on top of that, can get kills on Seb. The rotations have been on point by Limp. Again, they're just playing around the Tiny. They know Raking won't be able to recover. They're just going to get some kills for him, get him the experience required, and also mitigate some of the impact Seb had in the early game. The net worth between Timber and Monkey King now is even. Limp even finds an arcane room. That's going to be great for one more Avatos here.
And immediately going for that Blink Dagger, so we're not going to be seeing a very similar build that Thompson tried this morning.
Radiant's top tower is under
The
attack.
Echo Saber.
It was Midas into Echo Saber. Sorry, Midas into Blink into Echo Saber, then the Sancho and Yasha. Yeah, we saw the heat map, by the way. Limp has been in the top lane for a while. He knows the easiest lane to gank. Now taking some stabs. So wants to disturb them. Here comes the adaptive strike. Limp. He just can't pick these things. He's a bit too afraid. Bottom lane, Nico is also fighting against Sumail, but more interesting to see what happens with these stacks as Saxa joins them. S4 wanted to protect this mid laner. Again, with the lack of reactive armor, though, you don't want to fight head-on just yet.
Well, not much. It's level 3 already, so and he's got the casual cloak for that magic resistance. So as soon as that he sidesteps that arrow from Sock, so he's not too scared of these guys. You need to land set up arrow to be able to
Dire's
bonus
bottom
damage.
tower is under
Who
attack.
actually has maxed Jingu mastery, by
Radiant's
the way.
middle tower is
So
under
he
attack.
should be. I'm a little bit surprised not to see him take a point in Primal Spring. Not because, I mean, that's kind of normal for a carry to take points into Primal Spring, because that's actually what you farm with. But he's going to be forced to lane a little bit longer. At least his rotation game isn't going to be as strong if he just had a single point. The idea is to just get that score closer towards the bottom of this table, and it's a far mission accomplished.
I think the idea is similar to the Midas we saw earlier on Thompson, whereas I don't want to fight now, so why should I build for it, right? The ideally, Alliance doesn't come to my part of the map. I'm not going to try and gank to create space, because I'm going to try to punish them instead when they try to go for me. I'm okay with that. OG has demonstrated this kind of thought process before. Alliance will have to now make the plays and make them correctly, and now the ball's on the Alliance court. Let's see. Limp is very close to that Blink Dagger, not quite yet. I think he'll be desperately trying to find farm. He's not going to take this tower by any means. It's just going to be waiting for one to come online. As FNG, by the way, the king of stacks. Oh my goodness, 9 stacks. I think he stacked at least once per minute. Yeah, actually every single minute.
Bottom. All try to TP out, but Frame Guard Blast in a second, and it will be used to kill the king. The one true king, of course, as Seb now actually having TP down bottom. Ultimate up, this ward is able to escape before we can get off the Jingu Mastery stack. Oh, not it actually. We'll be able to lifesteal off the way, full HP. Seemingly ready to use that level 1 reincarnation because Alliance is bringing more people over. There's the added cost. Just the toss actually needed. I want to get the kill onto Seb. They have at least gotten the first reincarnation popped, but no one else here from OG to defend the tier 1 tower.
Are fortified.
Not even wasting time. He knows. He needs to go mid immediately. He's not chasing after the Mirana. This goes back to farm, defend the tower as you mentioned. I think farm he's sacrificing by going to other lanes, even if these ganks are not always successful, is worth it for the space that you're creating, and Timbersaw being able to get online. Hell, even the Wraithing is getting online, just because of the rotations that Space Limp has made. And then he can always recover just taking farm from the neutrals here, just taking the stacks. I mean, all this farm you're seeing from the neutrals have been the stacks from FNG, some of which actually got stolen by the Morphin.
Yeah, very true. Plus, this was meant to be even higher. If you recall, we did steal this stack right where Nico Baby's at a bit earlier. Sumail was able to take that. Really gave away a bit.
Sumail was going to be looking. Oh, that break. That's going to bother him. He can't spin any longer, so he can't take these creeps. FNG knows this, gets close. The pushback only finds creeps, but actually clears the camp. FNG, he makes stacks, he takes stacks. This man, he's playing the jungle game today.
He is playing a suitable hero for it as well with the squirrel, I would say. It's a really, really nice job there. That is going to let them know that there's vision up here, but because, you know, naturally the last troops in the camp are going to be the he picks all of those up, means that it's going to be the most annoying thing possible. By the way, is making really great progress towards that Manta style.
Yep. Another sharpshooter. I mean, FNG here, I think, more than trying to kill Sumail, is just trying to disturb his farm by taking away his passive. And I think that's perfectly correct here. Yeah, so we're gonna see what FNG did here. I love that we're gonna replay for the farm. That bushwhack was on the board.
Actually. Again, we'll open up with the Sumail already finished up, and they will be able to catch Sumail, who's just farming one single ancient camp.
Okay, well, that worked out for them. That was the link reveal for Limp, right?
Into the smoke play, as well as a quote-unquote fail of Discord reveal. Not really much of a reveal, but Hanskin sure made it look really
Winter script set up with the arrow. Here comes Smoke, kills Gote immediately. He can S4 survive this, but now he will limit the target. Limp is quite ganky, and they just silence Seth. He can't get off the Woodrun's command. They throw a tree at him. Seth, it's slow. They actually use the Hoodwink's tree to timber change too. S4 getting closer to the Monkey King. He will get that kill. Revenge for the lane. They even bushwhack Thompson. He's been silenced. Now that's been shifting. So S4 wants a second kill. The Blizzard Storm is being recalled, which means he can't get that last bit of damage in. Alliance won't be able to finish off Thompson, but they do get a nice little Monkey King.
It's not gonna go. Okay. Yeah, I mean, just getting the Monkey King was quite a play there as well.
Radiant's
The arrow
middle tower
nearly
is under
connected. Oh,
attack.
mid lane actually. Saksa, he's got 2 leap charges here.
Look at that acorn shot play. That was on point. That was really good. I never
Radiant's
expected you to do that
bottom
play with
tower
Timber,
is
so
under
that was very
attack.
clever.
Really nicely done. Of course, the arrow that was meant to lock down S4 a bit longer through the curse. Unfortunately, it just got by a creep. So
Radiant's
OG,
bottom
we're
tower
expecting a
has
longer duration stun from that curse onto the Timbersaw.
never
We're
see me
really
come.
surprised. Dead.
And NS4 now is completely online from what was a pretty bad lane. He's even going to still go for the Kai and Sanch build. So you have pretty much a tri-core here for Alliance, whereas OG, the Monkey King, lags behind. He's a good utility core, doesn't recover at least with Timbersaw. Finds Nico Baby. Actually, Nico Baby found him instead, Seth. And make him invisible. That chunk actually broke the bushwhack, not ideal. He's still been broken, but he's going to be able to get away. No dust. Because they're on cores. Why would you kill him?
He's also really tanky. He's got Hood of Defiance already, so even though that was a pretty well-charged sharpshooter, it didn't fall that much to him. Okay. Max able to throw it. Part of me and clear that easy camp and heal.
Dire's top tower
Limp
is
is
under
actually
attack.
going for the by the way.
Radiant's middle
He is
tower is
taking
under
notes.
attack.
It's a tip of the hat here towards Thompson.
No, I mean,
Got the
this is what they always do. Let Nico see.
Yeah.
You can see the burst, right? The difference in Thompson's build was definitely the Midas and SMY.
Dire's top
We'll see if he builds the
tower is
SMY
under
later. Morphling, the target here, Limp. Okay, smoke broke, so he
Radiant's
knows they
middle
must be in the
tower is
camp,
under
but Thompson
attack.
actually sees him. Oh no! Pushed into the high gun. Limp, but he has a blink dagger. He's fine. He's just biding his time. He's like, I
Dire's
swear,
top
you hit
tower is
nothing
under
there.
attack.
I'm nowhere. He just
Dire's
disappeared.
top tower has fallen.
It didn't work out for them. Seb actually took the tower in the top lane. A bunch of shenanigans bottom that lead to nothing, which allow OG to at least take a top
scanning.
tower and expand their map a bit further.
I got a D ward out of that, so you know it's not all time wasted at the very least. With pretty fresh ward out from OG. So now it's going to be a little bit scarier to go farm in their jungle, where unbeknownst to them, there are 2 Alliance wards in the bottom area of the map. Over. Saksa, though, doing the same on the other side. That aggressive ward. Usually that implies that they're next to try and push it to tier 1 tower in the mid lane.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Lions, who are a bit of a wrap.
See, Veil Discord's available soon. This is the combo I was talking about earlier with the Skyrath Mage Tiny.
Radiant
Murders
structures
honestly
are
anything they
fortified.
find, even a Morphling. Or perhaps a Winter Wyvern who
Radiant's
is
bottom
really keen
tower
on
is
scouting
under
them out. No tail. Oh, Winter's Curse used, so he doesn't want to die. Actually cancels the Blink Tag with the Arctic Burn. Smart play by No Tail. Really didn't want to die there. I mean, it's honestly worse than Winter's.
He wants to live, yeah. That's ward might have been scouted here, but it looks like for now Alliance aren't get a sentry out there immediately. So OG farming confidence in the jungle. Quickly on some mail, his progress towards Manta nearly finished. In fact, now he's got it. So Manta style completed.
Radiant's bottom tower
Right,
is under
broken
attack.
the Monkey King. Do they have any more stuns? Is it double damage? But not like to say just yet, which means they don't have enough to actually stop that TP. Meanwhile, Thompson actually gonna be breaking this tower. There's 2 fights going on. They're trying to fill the control of the top lane as Thompson. They know the 2 heroes Thompson. He's gonna be vulnerable and destroyed. Alliance, another easy kill for them here in the mid lane. Top, they can't stop another TP. The bane of Limp for now, but they got a kill on Thompson, so they're quite happy. Aska tries to ward, found by the Monkey King. Seb is going to finish him off, but they still got a mid lane. I think they're quite happy with that. Even the ward got
for
ward
sure.
there.
Yep, that was him dying for the D ward, which again is very useful because that's now 2 D wards after not freshly placed observer wards, but definitely in the early half of those wards' lifespan. So playing with a little bit less vision now over on the side of OG, which makes it harder for Seb to rotate around as freely. It makes it hard for Sumail to know when and if he's able to farm safely, how far he wants to push. So it's a vision game, really important to have versus a team that is going to be mobile. Yeah, but we, you know, the panel was talking about what do you use to punish a cold embrace, and Skyrath Mage is absolutely the answer. Easiest setup in the world here for a nice Mystic Flare, only to be buffed further by that Veil.
I do agree with the point they made about the 4-steps, though. I think you should pick up a couple of 4-steps here this game. Winter Wyvern and Mirana can both pick them up quite useful. I mean, the Holy Lock is still a priority for the Winter, but later on, those 4-steps, not only do they stop you from being killed by the Mystic Flare combo, they might even be able to destroy trees, which gets you rid of the bushwhack. There's a couple of utilities that the 4-step can commit. And the bottom lane this time, No still has that ultimate, but not the time to use it. Instead, you're looking for a tower here as Alliance, ready their map further. OG still hasn't gone to the point where they can play their game, you could say, as Axe still not online, needs that shard
Radiant's
first.
bottom tower has fallen.
Yeah, Seb is going for the Echo Saber here, by the way, on the Monkey King. I think it's finished now, flying on the way towards him. This no longer slows, it hasn't for a while, by the way, but it no longer slows or procs, rather, on the Wukong commit ultimate. So that's not a thing. But it is good for farming.
Radiant's middle
Building up your
tower
Jingu
is under
stacks.
attack.
I mean, if you're going for the fighter build, which seems to be the case here, right? With a hood, you're gonna build like a tanky Monkey King that can also just frontline. I think this is pretty solid. Like I said, Seb used to build the Witchblade when he was looking for the slow within those. But then again, he also used to build the Axe at that time. He's a very greedy Monkey King also.
Shadows take us.
Probably not the case here. Then
Radiant's
BKB,
middle
play more of the
tower is
Vanguard
under
Monkey King
attack.
seems appropriate for this game. Limp really afraid of that tower. Hit it once, it moved. Oh no, gotta retreat immediately.
Radiant are scanning.
You never know if there's a monkey waiting for you right on top of the trees. Fortunately for them, he is currently bottom. There's Blink already for Nico Baby, so we were talking about getting ready to fight here with this Echo Saber. That is definitely a fighting item at the ready for the Wraith King. We can fight, though, here on the side of OG, because we've got a best level 2 chargeman, and there's a kill top lane, though, as Thompson forced into the Hoodwink to even utilize that bushwhack. So that down bottom, though, they have got the tree of set, which is going to look to be out. Limbs up, he's going to be able to blink on in to stop that one. An avalanche to keep him held down, and that kill is
Radiant's
going up
middle
into
tower
Baby.
is under attack.
Even the small things. Limp knows when you need to cancel a TP, you gotta go for cost first. Avalanche is a bit of the 0.5 seconds to get there.
Prize is mine.
Meanwhile, we see the Hoodwink kill yet
Dire's
again.
middle tower
The observers don't miss a thing. I think those kill bottom are much more important, as is the one no-tail now, Lions. Yeah, you lost the Hoodwink, but he's your 5, so that's equivalent to the no-tail kill we just got.
Dire's
Meanwhile, you
top
being able
tower
to take
is
down the
under
Monkey King,
attack.
really, really valuable. No Wukong's command to defend your plays. S4 seems quite free here. Samael.
Not scared of anything. He's got Kayans on.
Yeah, Samael was trying to farm those ancients, but S4 is like, no, I want them. They're mine. What are you gonna do, Samael? How are you gonna contest them? You can't.
Radiant's bottom tower is under
Sumail, by the way,
attack.
in the last game, because I would say in the last game that he did play the carry axe, they did have a little bit of a better start than this. You know, the kills or whatever,
Yep.
kills mean nothing. But I did still feel like it was a better start. Do you remember if you went first for the shard instead of Blink Dagger?
Yes,
You
he went
did,
for the
right?
shard. Yes, but there was a reason
Okay.
for it, and it's actually similar to this game, we'll see. Because in that game, he was building up towards the Blink Dagger, then got killed right before, and he was down, he lost a fair amount of gold, and then needed to be in recovery mode for a while, which is why he went for the shard first. This game, we'll see. Maybe he doesn't consider like he's in recovery mode just yet. Maybe he thinks he has to fight with his team. But Seb is committed to this outpost. Nico Baby also sends a skeleton army away. There's actually reinforcements coming the way of Alliance. A whole 4 smokes. Nico Baby's committed to taking the outpost back, and OG probably knows it's a trap.
Yeah, it kind of felt like they were setting a trap, but no, OG just really wanted the outpost there for a couple of seconds. And at least buys space, and it is a little bit of a bait, forcing those rotations, or I guess baiting those rotations. Sumail instead goes go ahead and goes up towards top in the triangle. So it's going to be Thompson, he's going to be able to stay alive for now. Arrow will hold on a little bit. Seb actually ends up leaping after this one. He's broken. That's got off Wukong's command, as the Winter's Curse only catching on to Nico Baby. So he's moving away, safe and sound, but Seb now back into his own arena is going to be killed off.
Alright, Thompson watching that hit though. He's hoping to kill off S4 using his own form. With constant bullet deathing Nico Baby though. Going up on Samael. Does he have enough damage? Thompson wants to help out. In fact, there's no sides here, but barely gets away. Here's Blink coming back with the at-one top combo, killing 2 cores at once. Alliance was just waiting for that combo to get back online so they could finally punish Samael and Thompson. They almost did it, but the choice to go for S4, the only core that was really staying around, is of course Wraith King has to be Incarnation. You're not going to go for him first. It was just tough. What do you kill? The Tiny's a bit too slippery. The Hoodwink and Scarlet Mage are nowhere to be seen. Timber Sauce too tanky, and Wraith King has 2 lives. It's honestly a loser's game no
Radiant's
matter who you
middle
pick.
tower is under attack.
Yeah, and Alliance, of course, getting the kills. They're going to be super happy with that, but also just establishing control here in the enemy triangle. This is going to further delay Sumail's Blink Dagger. He was just about to finish it off, and now he's going to have to hit a couple more small camps
Radiant
before he
are
gets the
scanning.
Blink Dagger online. He will be ready to go, though. It's literally just a couple of camps, a couple of waves here, and then I suspect OG are going to be looking to smoke around that big power spike, because it is going to be able to chop through just about anyone, especially with this vessel on Soxa. They shouldn't really have any difficulties here. Second life of Wraithing aside, of course.
Well,
Radiant's
that's the
top
difficulty though.
tower
Your
is under
lineup has a
attack.
fair amount of Murph and the Axe and the Morphling, and against the Wraith King, he's the king against these kind of strats. I mean, Nico may be struggling against the illusions. We see it. You know, you're meant to burst on the Wraith King.
Radiant
But if there's a hero that's
structures
pretty
are
good against the carry axe, it'd be him. Strength hero, so nice HP gain, 2 lives, so you
Radiant's
can deal with a
top
Mamba
tower
Stalber
is
for
under
a small
attack.
initial bout of damage. We'll see as OG seems to be preparing for their next fight here with the smoke.
See who they can find into the jungle or into the triangle. Goes Seb,
Radiant's
leaving up to
top
another
tower
tree
is
here. It's gonna break. Oh yeah, that's a kill onto FNG.
Radiant's
Of course,
top
just kind of
tower is
throwing
under
himself
attack.
into the smoke gank, making sure that it escapes behind him. Or might be in trouble. Timber chain away before Seb can get.
Tank the smoke though, I think that's fine, honestly. I mean, that smoke had to do so much, because they had to regain high ground to be able to use it. Then you had to go and try to find the ideal kill, and like I said before, that's really Limp. I mean, you gotta kill Limp at the beginning of the fight. He is slippery if
Are
obviously
scanning.
he's not the first target, but you should be able to murder it. He's not that tanky. And then you get rid of a big bout of burst damage that Alliance has.
We've been holding on to a couple of smokes here, by the way, for OG. Soxa just had 3. He's now down to 2. And they kind of need to use this period to kind of fight themselves back into this game. Of course, kills don't mean anything, but the 7k net worth lead is a little bit troubling here for OG. Especially because a lot of this is going to be on the Wraith. Now he's got the S and Y on top of that Radiance amp. He's big.
Yeah, and
He's a shark.
Axe is gonna struggle to kill him twice. That's the goal. We have the full build now though for the Axe, so he's come online now. Perhaps he might wait for the BKB. That will nullify some of the impact by Alliance, but Wraith King's only gonna get fatter and fatter right now. In fact, you even might see Tiny start to transition into being more of a carry, right? Down to just the first damage. You saw Karas as the first step towards that, giving you that attack speed so you can actually hit. Now with the shard, this transition's a bit smoother, as you actually can become a nice late game carry by having the tree grab always available to you.
And is basically just building into anti-morph lane. Got now the Aether Lens, the Veil to amp his damage, and longer cast ranges, of course, and immediately into Aeon Disc. Just knows if he can just kind of distract this Morphling for a little bit of the fight,
Radiant's
and
top
always
tower
have that
is
kill
under
threat
attack.
over him. It's just something that he can't ignore.
Nico Baby has a haste rune, feels invincible, but is he? No, he thought about it twice. There's that moment when the haste rune thinks, I can do this, and then immediately, yep, he goes to one of the point. He bursted down. Now Sumail, having completed this build, does deal a fair amount of damage, and Timbersaw is no longer a big obstacle. Or a
Another
tanky
smoke
obstacle.
play here. OG, blood in the water. They're gonna go hunting for a shark now. A Seb into the triangle. Smoke will break, and they do have eyes on him. He's gonna hunt back down. Ready for an arrow. Is just gonna miss FNG. Mystic Flare. Good damage onto Seb. Silent Stub. He is gonna get the Cold Embrace heal. That'll keep him alive for now. In fact, more than that healing. He is now gonna get aided now by at least the Winter's Curse. The Sumail with the 2-man call. Underneath that tier 2 tower, Hanskin will fall. Nico Baby still having his novel level 3 reincarnate, but its Limp is the one in trouble now. The Axe army slowly spinning into death.
Dyer's middle
Unaided
tower
by that
has fallen.
vessel, Limp continuing to try and run away. Thompson will wait for him after him, and it's going to be Sumail with the gun. During the kill and ending a 6 times unstoppable streak here on Limp.
On point teamfight execution by OG. That was exactly what we were talking about, right? I mean, the difference are the freebie there, sure. But then afterwards, you being able to kill the Tiny first, that was the way you had to do it. You kind of support that position. The Axe is not bothering or concerning himself with the Wraith King. On top of that, what actually saved the Monkey there was the Holy Locket. Not forgetting that he was on teammates. And that extra bit of healing towards the end allowed Seb to stay alive. Really, really well played that team fight on OG. This is what we saw, by the way, last game they played with the Axe carry. This just a bit earlier, where team fights, they reach a point where they're chaotic, and OG just rubs their hand together, like, this is where we relished, this is where we were born. You know, the chaos is one of us. And Alliance needs to have to deal with this. Unfortunately, Quincy Crew could not do so, but Alliance may have a better plan. They have the heroes to do it, for sure.
Yeah, they got to be like super certain that if we use Mystic Flare and the Ancient Seal on someone that's not the Morphling, that you do end up getting that kill.
Yep.
Because at least then it's like an even fight, right? Or at least it's a 5v4 in that sense. Because if you use that combo of spells and Morphling is not affected by this, he's just going all in. There's nothing really that he's too scared of this game. You know, Bushwhack is always a threat. Great Fire Blast, he can usually Manta dodge. And that's kind of about it. At this stage, he's too tanky for Lim to just solo burst him.
Look out for falling
See that again, right? There was the Mystic Flare used, as you mentioned, but immediately saved. And with that, once you got that Cold Embrace, you were lacking actually the magical damage. You already used all your burst. There was the Holy Locket I was talking about. The Radiance might have been able to sort of take him down with the Arcane Bolts, but the Holy Locket made sure that was impossible. Alliance, now they're rethinking their strats. They gotta find the solo kills, make it so these engagements are not as difficult, so it's not a full 5-on-5. But Seb, actually, the flare this time is going to work. And the sharpshooter was there to take off Seb's head. The male is the next target. He does use the Berserker Skull. Extra armor for now. They hit him with the arrow. Saksa protecting his king, and what a royal guard. So male will be able to get away thanks to Saksa's efforts. No kill too.
Maybe almost blinked right on top of where Sumail was seeping away. That was a little close for comfort. He's not going to be able to find him. I'm sure Sumail saw the Radiance burn and maybe went a little monk ass, but he's all good to go. Top, and he's continue farming BOTs.
Dire's middle tower
Yeah,
is
so
under
he's
attack.
very fast.
Thank you for that call. Top tier analysis. We got the Ethereal Blade as well on the Morphling. So now we can say the Morphling kind of came online, right? He went for like a stats build and then deviated into the shotgun a bit later. Gives you the viability of going for both, not immediately into the shotgun, which would have made you a bit too weak this game. I agree with his choice. But it stops him, so at some point he has to build a Ethereal Blade. It's in his contract, right?
I believe it is. Yeah. I believe it is. Speaking of, okay, Saksa though, he's going to get hit by the silence and cut down rather quickly. Nikobaby very eagerly getting right into the face of the Moron. Great Fire Blast. And he's going to be able to do that a little bit more effectively as he's just about to finish off this overwhelming blink. And into the eye of Scotty. Nikobaby Wraithing.
Okay. Well, overwhelming blink first. We've seen this before from... Was Nikobaby that we were casting this as well, where he actually kind of rushed the overwhelming blink to a degree?
Yeah, I believe it is.
So what's the idea here? Cancels Blink Daggers on that, stops Primal Spring, so that's pretty useful. A bit more magical damage, I guess, on the Winter Skirt or the Cold Embrace. So if you still have it off cooldown by some miracle, you will be able to burst down someone that's been saved. That could be a potential. Also better farming.
Yeah, it's good versus these illusions of Axe as well, because it basically, you know, removes that attack speed bonus you do get from the counter helix. And other than the Manta style, you don't really build too many attack speed items on a Axe. So that is going to be a little bit of a large DPS, a little bit of a large. It is a pretty minus DPS here. So Nikobaby, there's the blink right into the face of Seb, and they go for this team fight. They've already gotten rid of no sample. There's no Winter Skirts available. Nikobaby hit him with a couple. Sumail just running him down as Seb and Thompson both looking to try and get Haskin. They have cut down the tree of Seb, though. Stops for a couple of seconds. He now will look to rejoin the fight. Thompson in the Timbersaw spawn, diving underneath the tier 2 tower, will lose the Aegis. The rest of Alliance looking to set up around it for the second line.
Bushwhack misses, but they do have the toss. They continue with the Wraith Fire Blast. Thompson goes full strength, though. How are you going to bring him down? 2k HP left. Alliance has to give up on Thompson, but they might still be able to find some stragglers. Let's see. Oh, never mind. They go for Thompson again. He took a different path. Thompson back to the 2 copies. Well, they justified. And actually going back in. Thompson was just baiting. Sumail's going for the squirrel. Goodbye to FNG. When the E-Blade, Nikobaby, how are you going to get anything here? S4 or Nikobaby, they're going to go with a man against a man with only 1 life. But they don't want to get out of this Wukon's command. Nikobaby re-engaging yet again. The arrow misses. Want to kill Seb. Actually toss it forward. Says, I'll deal with Seb. You go for the Piranha, and Seb is already dead. Limp, acknowledging you were strong enough to finish off the monkey. Saksa will die to Hanskin. Alliance end up turning the turn of the team fight.
Yep. Tide has been turned quite easily there over for the likes of Alliance. I think it ends up here in their favor. Yeah, 4 dead for OG. The fact that they're able to dispatch of no tell with Aegis as well. Yeah, yeah.
But no, it's just Aegis on Morph. It wasn't a death, that's what I'm saying. 3 dead plus Aegis.
Good point. Good point. 3 dead plus Aegis. I mean, it's huge though. it's so big that they're able to get rid of No-Tail immediately in that fight, because then there's no concerns whether or not they group up anymore. You're not really that scared of them after that. Ends up biting them a bit in the butt, because Sumail does, you know, much like ILTW did yesterday, you are able to catch Thompson, saved a bit though. The magic damage is not enough. There's so much healing right now onto the Morphling, but not enough. At the end of the day, Limp is going to be able to right-click through him as soon as he pops out of that golden brace. Nico Baby might consider going up high ground, but can't. Now look at the Archer burn it, that dagger on cooldown.
I have liked that the overall Blink pickup though. He's able to just chase after the supports really easily. An issue with the extra amount of damage, of course, it's boosted by the Ancient Seal Veil Discord. It's been good here for Nico Baby, and the extra tankiness is definitely welcome. They can go for some downs, using the Assault Grasp, of course, to their advantage. Another overall Blink, hoping to burst on the Marana. And here's the Mystic Flare, everything in her power. You open the spell on Silas. She's to leap away. Sansa, they don't expect that she's down. They lost Sansa, but it's changed. OG might only take down Limp. They're chasing after. Big Gibby is an active hit. Really wants this kill, but Limp, he's only getting 27 jump with top. That's gonna guarantee it. Seb sets up the move up to command, doesn't want S4 chasing after him, but S4 still wants to kill some Mail. Who's gonna protect him this time? Nico Baby so close to die, but he's still in second life anyway. So Mail gets a big faster than the route of travel, so Nico Baby will have to settle for No-Tail. As Sam has been left behind, Alliance is now starting to sandwich him. They all go against Sam, who gets healed by the golden brace. No-Tail will have to pay for these hits. Although he's blinking, No-Tail's down for the count. That's the guy got, but still, only Sam guaranteeing the kill of the Monkey King as the swarm dies. All the Wolfling creatures are falling, and now it's only the big beefy boys fighting it out. They don't want to continue. Alliance is done with all this bloodlust. OG is not done yet. As they go for S4 with Leon did, he still has a timber chain, but so does Thompson. And the shotgun on top of that Lotus Sword, so he won't be slowed. Instead, Nico Baby actually from behind. He's on the Marana, wants the Marana, but instead he's only going to find his own death. Nico Baby, that's the greed.
I feel better already.
Extremely greedy play by him, and he didn't even get the support as a result.
Yeah, that was a bit brutal. Good buyback out from No-Tail in the middle of that really, really long fight to make sure that he's able to at least bait them out a little bit longer. Sumail just looking to drag people back in. I mean, that fight started off, I mean, there's so many things to recount. Limp really making the Tiny look just super broken as well, able to blink in and just kidnap Sumail, who has got to use BKB super early on just to get back onto his own high ground. Oh, it's a close one. You can't just get into the fountain of OG that easily. You know, they're the ones that usually want to go swimming first.
What I'm kind of loving about these fights is that honestly, I can't really tell who's winning them, and I think neither of the teams can either, because they keep baiting each other, and sometimes I'm questioning if they're baiting themselves to a degree. I mean, I think the end Nico was a bit too much, but all these plays that Alliance is making, like it's this philosophy that Alliance has been taking that allows them to get all these sneaky kills out of it. So even though maybe that play was a bit too far, I don't disagree with the idea behind it, which is let's keep trying to get these sneaky kills where OG least expects it. We have insane pickoff potential, but in 5-on-5 we're a bit weaker. So the best advantage, the best way to use this is to use OG's chaos against them.
Yeah, I thought I juked myself out there for a second. Seb had an item on the core I didn't see. It's Hamel of the Iron Will, and I thought he just had queued up a Divine Rapier casually. I was like, Seb, not like this. Go Satanic first.
Yeah, it's Nullifier this time because he saw the Aeon Disc. He's not going to let that happen again. I think the Aeon Disc was a good pickup. Oh, the smoke. Somewhat of a bait. Sumail actually wants to pick himself. Sumail will go to last this. He has a BKB. Go for the rating first. It's difficult though, Nico. He's still on the second life. We're just going to send the fight. Actually, wait perhaps? OG? They have a low ground right now. They need to recover the high ground if they really want to fight this appropriately. Thompson turning into the rating. Got the crit out of it. And actually, gonna kill Nico with the illusion. Not going for Limp. Mystic Flare though, it's forced enough to Mail. Wasn't expecting that amount of damage. Golden Ring is huge. David Thompson. He has been silenced though, but he is full strength already. Nico Baby somehow still alive. He hasn't even lost his first life. Instead, Mortal Thompson trying to get away. Even with full strength, he doesn't have the resilience to tank all of Alliance's damage, and they'll lose 2 here, OG. Thinking they could do it, but unable to bring down the rating even once.
Yeah, he ends up getting level 25, I want to say halfway into that fight. So he's got that Mortal Strike cooldown, which of course is going to be a huge amount of lifesteal for him every single 2 seconds. On top of this eye of Scotty in the middle of that fight, making this a really, really difficult game for OG, which is as soon as they go in, they're kind of just committed, whether they like it or not. second Roshan of the game, Aegis Cheese, and that Aghanim Shard. They do at least Warrior Nico Baby in the secret shop. So it's not going to do much to stop them from completing Roshan.
I like this strat line. Alliance realized that the true weakness that OG has is the reincarnation, so like, why don't we just give it to a second hero, and then that way, 2 heroes are unkillable. Literally 1,000 IQ plays. He also got shard out of it, so that's
Radiant's top tower is under attack. Radiant's top tower has fallen.
So I think the reason Sumail ends up not having match style there was because he's got Flicker, so he's depending on being able to use a Flicker to make sure he can get out of or Aeon Disc, of course, being dispelled by that Nullifier. So maybe he's immediately in on a no-tail. A lot of stuff is first from coming through, but they've got 4-step Sharpshooter just barely out of reach here. They drag back Nico Baby just barely. Some toughest Minotaur hard no to escape and down to the low ground. The rest of his team is here to support him.
Alliance finding their time. They know that there's no need to rush this, they'll just wait it out. But OG, because of the axe, they also have some pretty solid lane clear here, and some good high ground defense. Mind you, we haven't been able to see it because Nico Baby, as soon as he sees the high ground, he's like, oh, I have to jump this, oh, and he just blinks right forward, trying to kill one of the supports here. Oh, we're gonna see the blink. There's the sharpshooter that Richie was just barely.
Clip the wing. Luckily,
yeah.
it's a wyvern, not a dragon from Game of Thrones, so it doesn't go down instantly.
Good thing for no-tail, because if they lost the Winter Wyvern there, they would have been without any counter-initiation options. And that'd be a real pickle for OG right now.
They're just not really that scared, though, of the rest of the counter-initiation. Like, Seb is mean, and he's tanky for sure, and if he's allowed to, does a lot of damage, but the burst that they have, they can pretty easily get through him.
I figured out the hoodwink and the shard run.
This will come in handy.
Yeah, Nico, honestly, pretty good shard run. It's the only issue, of course, is that you need to you can control the illusion. You need to be quite clever with it, but I think it's quite a good shard. If it wasn't for the long cooldown, I think it'd be better. But it's 1,400 gold, so what? Are you gonna give it another OP ability?
Dire structures are fortified.
Maybe he'll be able to escape. That's also going to give the early warning system for Thompson to go ahead and back away, as he was also farming nearby. S4 though, closing the map closing the cap rather quickly with that pretty fight. Thompson into the try and fight up. He's got Sumail here, so it's a bit of a bait. Aeon Disc is out. Do not have the the nullifier that they need. FNG though, on the other side of the map, Lions are still looking to poke and prod in the base. They're losing. OG are losing, actually. Saksa in trouble, saved momentarily by the stun, but he leaps down to the low ground and is picked off by FNG. There's a dunk at least onto S4, who does not have buyback. We gotta get back and defend these barracks.
S4, you had to die for this as Alliance. They're taking the racks. The death was worth it. Don't worry, brother. Oh no, the Tiny got caught out with a Berserker Skull. But Nico Baby, just want to fight this. They need S4. Nico Baby alone can do this. They hit it with a nullifier. Oh no, actually he avoided it. Never mind, because he was invisible at the time. Sumail. There's still the Rage Fire Blast. Nico Baby's not leading your base, it seems like. Nico Baby's confused. He thinks this is his base now. He's going for Thompson. This time the nullifier will hit. As Thompson desperately tries to murder the squirrel. Unsuccessfully though. He's not cheese on Nico Baby, so I think he's gonna fight. But he might realize that without a Timber Saw, there's just no need to play this aggressive.
Classic S4 play, distracting enemies so that your team can take base. It's gonna work out pretty nicely as they are able to secure the entire top lane of barracks. Wow, already Octarine core. See here, this fight started off. Shooter. Oh wow, they just completely assassinated No-Tail. Didn't even see it coming.
That was a very dramatic death with the slow motion as well. That looked like Game of Thrones there for a second. Thompson gets an illusion of out, of course he is. Nico Baby really wanted their illusion room, but will that be punished? We'll see. Nico Baby still has the second life and the cheese. Of course, he'll go with the earliest, but comes back in. There's the cheese. And Thompson. And Thompson will fall. Winter's turn though. Reset the fight. But without Thompson, are you gonna have enough damage? The explosions are hitting them. Hitting themselves. And they drop the tank. They will take it. As from behind, Monkey King sets up the Wugon's command. Seb, are you gonna survive this? You maybe with a golden brace, the force that we're talking about, it's gonna work out. It's the same Seb. Nico Baby still has that second life though, and Seb will regardless fall. Lift came back into this. And die. That is not what he was looking for there. Barely got away with his life earlier, and now the sacrifice rate. Will that Phoenix in for Sumail? We'll see in a second. S4 is trying his best to kill off the Zac. Needs some sort of stun. FNG, where's your push back now? Using the sharpshooter in desperation. That's not going to stop that TP. Nickelback instead finding a poor little Morphling, stunning off Thompson. Thompson has been hexed, and they want some roasted pig for dinner. The question is, will they get the flicker helping him out with the Voidfire Blast? Settling the kill. Alliance not leaving any survivors. That's a dieback for Thompson.
Yeah, it is. Hanskin, he dies back for that, but he does so much damage in this fight. He ends up getting the kill credit for the death on Seb. And now, I mean, you've got buyback on Seb. Soxon's back at 9, but Morphling is both of your damage here. Morphling's been able to distract him long enough. As Nico Baby, there's blood in the water, immediately diving tier 4 is onto Sumail. Gets race now at least by No-Tel. Make sure he's healed up plenty. As Forks are chaining away, Sumail now looking to displace Nico Baby here. With that call, Nico Baby taking a bit of damage, and Seb is going to be able to set up the Woo Bombs command around, and Nico Baby goes right back in on the No-Tel, trying to get rid of his backline supports. As for hitting with nullifiers, the down didn't go through out from Sumail. He tried, but there's too much HP for Nico Baby. He's not even dead yet. Life stealing even more off Seb. As the stun will connect, he'll finally end up losing that first life. So that's a dieback now on Seb.
No, I don't know how you're going to defend this now. It's Axe versus the world with the help of a Marana. Soxon's done so much before, but now Soxon wanted to get a chance to help here. He actually instead of going for Sumail. Soxon's already been first, and Liv wants the last one. He's going to D4 Axe for 3 toss charges. Sumail won't blast this. The tiebacks come out, but Alliance are now running rampant in the OG base. OG has 2 people to defend this again. But this time they only have a single life. That better be a valuable one.
Doxa doing his best. He did it yesterday versus Enigma, just trying to get the enemies to dive a little bit too far, but Alliance focusing on the building. Tier 4 is down. There's the jump back in. No-Tail stunned for a second. Chopper is out and already killed off on the tree. It's going to be No-Tail. Right back on in as they toss him up and down and up again. That time they got an illusion, but it's not going to matter. Throne is down. It's going to be Alliance taking game 1 over OG.
What an impressive performance. Oh, FNG's happy. FNG's very happy. What an impressive performance by Alliance, honestly. I don't think OG. I think OG played a really good game. I think their draft was really solid. Yeah, there were a couple of haphazard plays maybe into the mid game, but it was just Alliance. It was just Alliance doing so well. OG identified the issue halfway through the game. They started killing the Tiny. They actually used their power spikes really well, and the only issue they had was that they were not up against the ideal draft for an Axe carry. I think the rating showed. He just became unkillable at a certain point, and